We've come to love him in television and in movies and on Brooklyn Nine-Nine that's back and on NBC, just like America's Got Talent, the champions that he hosts. But long before all that, he was an 11th round selection in the 1991 NFL Draft. Good to see you, Terry Crews.
Good to see you, Rich. Unreal.
It is a crazy journey you have taken, sir.
Crazy.
We have talked about it before in a previous show, but I want to unpack it a little bit here. So you were out of Western Michigan, right?
That's right. I walk-on.
You were a walk-on at Western.
I walked on.
Are you from the state of Michigan?
I'm from Flint, Michigan. Born and raised.
Okay.
Walked on to the football team. Had a $500 art scholarship.
To Western?
To Western Michigan.
Okay.
But, after a year and a half, earned my scholarship and went on and got drafted in the NFL, which was crazy. I was an athlete, man. I was actually a defensive end in college.
Okay.
Really small, 225, you know what I mean? Just playing against all these big guys. So
crazy. You had some Freeney, Randall, spin moves, bull rushes and stuff
man.
like that?
But I actually was on the strength team, the national strength team. I had literally broken, power cleaning records and different stuff because I was a strong athlete.
What's the most you've lifted?
Oh my God!
Come on now.
I had a 420 bench, but I ran a 4.5 40.
Come on!
I was an athlete. That was the thing. I mean, the only thing but this is the thing. I couldn't catch. I couldn't throw.
Right.
I could just literally take tremendous amounts of pain. That was my ability. I could really run my head into anything. And that got me on 3 teams over 7 seasons, 7 years. But I was on the Rams, Packers, Chargers, Redskins, Eagles, just jumping all around with my wife and kids. Rhine Fire, as you mentioned before.
The Rhine Fire and the NFL Europe League. But before we get to that, I'm looking here. So what was your draft day like? Were you home, just waiting for the call?
First of all, I was home, and I had thought, "Oh my God, I'm gonna get drafted 3rd round," because all athletes have to have this tremendous amount of entitlement and hubris in order to get going. And my wife was like, "I don't think you're gonna," and I was like, "No, babe, don't say it. I'm gonna go 3rd round, 2nd round." Man, we waited all day. And I had a barbecue. All the people were over it. They went home. They were like, "We'll see you tomorrow," And then the next day happened because that's back when you had the draft in a couple days.
Yep.
And oh my God, I thought I'm out. I didn't get drafted. And I remember, listen to me. I was sitting on my steps of my mom's house, crying, literally tears. And my wife was like, "Hey!" She literally grabs me. She said, "Listen. This is your dream. This is what you always wanted to do. You know what? You're going to go free agent. You're going to do what you got to do, but you are going to wake up and you're not going to just feel sorry for yourself, and you're going to make sure you get this shot." And I was like, "You're right. You're right, baby. You're right. I'm going to make it. And you know what happened? The phone rang. I thought the draft was over, and it wasn't. The phone rang. It was the LA Rams. They said, "You've been drafted in the 11th round." I was like, this is the thing, man. You can never give up because you think it's over, and it was not over yet.
So do you remember who was on the phone for the Rams?
Ronnie Jones, linebacker coach for the LA Rams.
For the LA Rams.
Never forget it, man.
So in 91, was Dickerson still there?
No. That was John Robinson was the coach.
Right.
Jim Everett was the but I backed up Kevin Green. I was Kevin Green's backup.
Come on.
Amazing.
What was
one
that
of the
like?
best people in the world. Let me tell you, man. He's, "What's up, Daddy? What's up, T? Hey, T. Cruz, come on over here, buddy. Let's do it." He literally talked like a wrestler all the time. But he was so encouraging, and he was like, "T, hey, what's up, man? Do your thing, man." And Jackie Slater was on the team.
Oh,
I got to work up against. It was like going in that locker room. Now I have to say, the NFL was a little bit different then.
Yep.
When I remember walking into the locker room, the first thing I saw was a guy smoking. He was like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" "Hey, your locker's over there, dude. Locker's over there, man." And I was like, "What is happening?" That was 91. You know what I mean? That was old school,
Yeah.
It was. People were real, man. They were real.
91 to 93, and then you were the Chargers in 94. Does that mean you were on the Super Bowl team? Did you go to the Super Bowl?
No, I didn't. I got cut. I got cut by the Packers.
Okay.
Picked up 2 days later in the 93 season.
Okay.
And signed with the Chargers. Spent all year with Bobby Ross, Junior Seau, Gary Plummer, just all Stan Humphries was a quarterback.
That was the team.
And then I came back the next year and got cut. And listen, this was the twisted part. Is that my linebacker coach, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he asked that I stay in town because they were going to bring me back.
The Chargers.
The Chargers. And so all 94, I waited all season and sat there, spent my own money to stay in San Diego, and they went all the way to the Super Bowl.
They did.
And they didn't bring me back. He kept calling me every week.
Oh.
The pain was incredible. When I tell you how to watch them go to the Super Bowl and to think that, okay, next week they're going to pick me up. Next week, he called me. It was really, really hard, man. That was probably one of the most depressing periods of my entire life. It got dark.
So what kept you going, Terry Crews?
Again, I mean, you know what? I'm from Flint, man. And to me, it was like, well, what am I going to do? Go back? You know what I mean? Literally, what was there in Flint, Michigan for me? I mean, you can see it now. You know, you're like, man, the whole city is getting raised, and there was drugs, there was crazy. You couldn't even drink the water. So what is there for me? So I was like, I might as well just keep going forward. It was one of those things where, you know, you have to burn the boats. You know what I mean? You come over and you just burn the boat. I'm going to stay here, and we got to make it work. And you got to fight the winter, and it gets cold. And let me tell you, my wife was with me, man. That was the best part about it. She was like 100%. Whatever you want to do, I'm going to support you.
What's her name?
That's great. Rebecca, my wife, Rebecca.
She's here today,
She's
right?
here.
Did she stay in the back? Is she right
That's
over
my
there?
sweetie. 30 years.
There she is, right there on the Rich Eisen Show green room couch.
She's seen it all.
Let's give her a little bit of run over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. When did you decide that's it, and I want to try something else?
You know, I remember I got picked up by the Philadelphia Eagles right after my stint with the Redskins. And I was picked up for the playoffs, and we lost to the 49ers in 97, early in January. It was a wild card game. We lost. And then I got a tryout at San Francisco. And I remember being treated, I remember just feeling so off and terrible. This guy threw this ball at me so hard, my finger was bent backwards, and he was just like, come on, man. And I just was like, I had enough. Like, there was a moment, I had a Vontae Davis moment.
What's that?
When you just say, I'm done. Now, his was at halftime, but I got to say this. I got to say this. I got something to say about this.
Sure.
I love this.
Go for it.
People really, what bothers me is that with football, Vontae Davis was seen as some kind of disappointment, and it was hard. But let me tell you, he actually had it together. He actually realized there's someone better that needs to be out here. You know what I mean? I can't give what I need to give. And I think in any workplace, if you can't give what you need to give, the best bet is to let someone else take that spot. And he was demonized, and it was kind of scary because people actually tried to say they would fight him for that. And I said, you know, football is a game. Football is not war. I mean, I can get it if you leave a guy in a bunker in war, but if you leave the Army softball team, is it that dangerous? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess people were saying, Terry Crews here on the Rich Eisen Show,
Yeah.
is that if Vontae Davis, it was a road game, he wouldn't have done what he did, right? That it was convenient that his car was right in the parking lot and he left, and that he should have at least stayed the second half of that game. But if you're out there on the field and you know you've got zero left.
Listen, first of all, when my first year as a rookie, I remember when Mike Utley broke his neck.
For the Lions.
Rams, Detroit. We were in Detroit. He broke his neck and never walked again. If he had a feeling right before that I should stop, you got to respect it. You understand what I mean? Like, we're talking like paraplegic forever. And he came out, he gives thumbs up and the whole thing. But maybe if Mike Utley had got this thing where he said, you know what? I should stop. You have to heed that. As any human being, any person, sometimes you get a little spidey sense where you say, man, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be standing here right now. And the light falls. You have to respect it. And when Vontae got that feeling, he was like, I got to get out of here. Something could happen. Who knows what could have happened in that second half? A lot of people like to say, oh, yeah, he should have done this and this. But you cannot speak for other people that way.
Well, being around the NFL as long as I've been fortunate to be around, Terry Crews again here on the Rich Eisen Show, is that part of Vontae Davis, what he did, there was a lot of people who said he ran, he was a coward or whatever. To me, leaving the NFL and trying to figure out what to do next, is a frightening venture for 100% of NFL players.
That's right.
Including, I mean, you know, I worked with Marshall Faulk for years. He's one of my good friends to this very day. And virtually every running back that's about to be drafted in the NFL would sign on a piece of paper if they could have Marshall Faulk's life.
That's right.
And contract, right? Or his career, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And he had to figure out at age 32, 33 what to do next.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
And so what you have been able to do with your post-playing career is remarkable. What would the Terry Crews that you just talked about playing football think of the Terry Crews that's sitting here right now?
Wow. You know, there was a moment when you have to come to the realization that the game is over, and that's hard. It's really, really hard. You got to understand, too, football players don't live long simply because you put everything into the game. You put everything into it, and then when it's over, it feels like a betrayal. I don't care how good you are. You know, it really feels like, well, this is it? Like, what's next? And I have to tell players all the time, I'm 50 years old, but I tell them all the time that the beginning of your life is when the game ends. And I had to tell myself nonstop, while I was in LA, sweeping floors, trying to find a way, I told myself my best days are still ahead of me. I had it written down on my mirror, written down. I would write it in notebooks. Every time I felt doubt, I would say my best days are still ahead of me. And this belief is what fuels you. But what happens is everyone wants to talk about that Super Bowl back in '94. Everyone brings that up.
I'm
you know?
sorry.
And that's the thing. And they act like, oh, no.
Okay.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they treat you as if that was it. But the deal is that you have so much life left. There's so many things left, man. And I never got this realization better than when I started to travel. I started to do movies all over the world. I'm in South Africa. I'm in Europe. I'm in Hong Kong, and they never heard of the NFL. Mm-hmm. And they're looking at me like, "You're a star. You're this and that." And I'm going, "Wow, the world is bigger than this." Now, I have to say this to a farmer: everything's about farming. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's all about, are we going to get that corn? But you leave the farm world and you go to San Francisco and you go to a tech company and you go, you're not thinking about the corn. You know what I mean? You start to experiment and see that, wow, there's much more than this. And I tell NFL guys all the time, use that ability, use your skill, everything, that stick-to-itiveness, that grit, use it in another form. And be prepared because your life still goes on.
Terry Crews here on the Rich Eisen Show. America's Got Talent, the champions, Mondays at 8 Eastern Time. And this is folks from all over the world and all the, I guess, fill-in-the-blank countries got talent, as well as some of the champions and successful folks from America's Got Talent, too. So how you enjoying hosting? Like, dude, just doing this sort of stuff, Terry?
But, you know, I call myself the Bo Jackson of entertainment. You know?
I like it.
Yeah, look, you can host, and then you jump over and do your show. Sure. It feels the same.
So hosting is a hobby?
You know, that's the thing. It's kind of like, I can only imagine when Bo would go and play baseball at his highest level, get on a plane, and then go play football. That's how I feel. I'm literally on the set of the #1 show on TV right now, America's Got Talent. I mean, the ratings just came out, #1.
Congrats.
And then I literally get in my car and go over to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is literally the top sitcom in the world right now. And I go, my God, this is what Bo must have felt. This is how Bo felt. But I got no concussions. And I got no injuries. My knees are good, dude. My shoes are great. You know
your shoe game is on point.
No, shoe game is tight, dog. I'm going to say it. It's wonderful, man.
That's fantastic.
He remembers now, my first job.
What show was that?
We did Battle Dome, a show that was kind of like American Gladiators meets WWE. That was insane.
He was there.
He was Team
They
Mike.
put me in a cage.
It was
insane. And I would fight contestants. That was my first job in entertainment, period.
That was my first job.
You were there?
Yeah, that was like my first job in an A2.
Do you really remember him, Terry, just being a good guy?
No, I'm not even joking. No, it's all good.
Come on, Rich.
I mean,
they always doubt me, Terry. They always doubt me because I've had a really crazy career as an audio guy.
But that was 20 years ago. That was 1999. It is 2019. And dare to say, I'm in better shape now.
He doesn't age.
So
I'm
is
in
he.
better
So
shape.
are you,
Yeah,
right,
there
Mike?
you go.
You're in better shape.
100%.
I want to play Celebrity True or False with you, Terry Crews.
do
With
it.
some stuff from some previous interviews of yours and then on IMDb pages and stuff. I want to know what's true and what's not. Let's do Celebrity True or False with Terry Crews here on the Rich Show.
Celebrity True
Keeping it real.
or False.
True or false, Terry Crews, your first job was as a sketch artist for a local news station in the 80s. True or false?
That is true. Very, very true. My first job, my father took me to WDIV TV 12
In Detroit?
And yes, exactly.
Right.
And wait, he took me down. That was it's another JRT. Excuse me,
Okay.
JRT TV 12 in Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
Took me down there during my summer of my freshman year, and he was like, "Hey man, you need a job, and my son can draw." And they were like, "Oh boy, what?" And I showed them my portfolio, and they were like, "Okay." And what they did, I started sketching for the station, and they put me on the worst murder case in Flint, Michigan history. I was in the courtroom. I did the courtroom sketches. And it was a learning experience for me. And it was my first job in entertainment, first job period, but it's also an entertainment gig.
Of course. Well, I don't know. Did you see the sketch artist that from the Deflategate case with Tom Brady?
Yeah.
It's right up there.
Yeah. Oh my God. No.
Come on now.
Well, he probably was hungry. He was hangry.
This is a hungry sketch
He was
artist.
trying to get it done and get a sandwich. You know what I mean? I could tell. There's some anger there.
Oh man, gives everybody a bad name. I guess a sketch artist. You're known for your physique. True or false? You have a mean sweet tooth anyway. Your sweet tooth.
Oh yes, definitely. That's true. True.
What's
true.
your weakness?
Oh my God, I have cronuts, man. First of all, donuts, dude. Any kind of donut. I mean, an apple fritter. Come on, man.
now
It
we're
breaks me
talking.
down. Like, and you always regret it. But you know what? Also, I learned to eat. Not to eat emotionally. This is the thing. I've been doing intermittent fasting, so it keeps me away from donuts. But when I get depressed, and you're sad, you didn't get a role you wanted, I'm driving. I notice all the donut stores. You're like, and you realize that you're trying to placate. You know what I mean? And you're like, this donut. And my wife will see me eating donuts. She's like, "What happened, baby? What happened?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm sorry. I don't feel good right now."
See, my wife has an exact opposite reaction when she sees me eating a donut. Like, what are you doing? You know, like
she's mad.
Because, well, she knows that I won't look like Terry Crews after eating the donut.
That's true.
That's the difference here.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Huh? I still have time.
Yes.
Okay.
It's never too late.
So what is have you found out what your metabolism rate is? Have you checked on that?
I've done everything, man. My deal is, for me, I've been intermittent fasting for 6 years.
Okay.
And it's really given me a new lease on life. I start at 2, stop eating at 10. I do an 8-hour window, 16-hour fast. And it really, because the only thing that makes you fat is insulin. That's it. And if you control your insulin, if you control when that stuff kicks in and peak it, I find that you can really, really lose the weight and stay strong. And also working out 2 hours a day.
Yes,
I forgot about that part. Yeah, but
oh man, another one. You worked on the set as a bodyguard for Cube before he cast you on Friday After Next. Is that a true story?
Now that's true, but the bodyguard sounds sexy. Okay, it was security guard. Like, I had a T-shirt with a flashlight. Bodyguard sounds like suits and all that. No. It was more like I was like watching Cube's car. He's like, "Hey man, make sure my car stays there." I'm like, "Yes sir, yes sir." And I had my batteries. But this is the thing, I made sure all my little like polo shirts were really tied up good on the arms.
Medium, yeah.
And they were like, yeah, they were medium. All medium shirts. And they were like, "Oh, I look so amazing."
And then he cast you? Then he put you in?
And then he put me in Friday After Next. He remembered me. And I had actually did a stint on Training Day, like extra. I was an extra in Training Day.
Right.
And he remembered me. He was like, "That's the guy who did security on next Friday," and put me in Friday After Next.
What was your role in Training Day?
Oh, I was an uncredited gang member. That was it. I was walked on the set to watch Denzel work, and the director, Antoine Fuqua, said, "Hey, man, you know what? I'm going to put you in this movie. You down?" I was like, okay. So he said, "Take your shirt off." I took my shirt off, and I was the guy on the roof. That was flipping pigeons, and the whole thing as Denzel came down.
You just walked on the set to see Denzel work? What are you talking about?
I had a friend who was like a location guy because I was doing security.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, you want to watch Denzel tonight?" I was like, "Yep." See, this is the thing. A lot of your success just comes from proximity. You know what I mean? You can be broke anywhere. I decided to be broke in LA. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of great things happen,
Last one for you, Terry Crews. You have never taken a single acting class. True or false?
That's true. Never taken a class.
Come on.
Ever. All my ability, all my skill was on the job training. And I would mess up. I would mess up bad. I messed up. But this is the thing. Everybody messes up.
Right.
That's what I used to think you could never miss a line. Then I would watch the biggest superstar actor. Can I get another one? You're like, hey, they can mess up. Because you have this myth that you're supposed to be perfect.
Right.
And perfection is not expected. Only thing you need to do is be faithful. That's it. Faithful. Forget perfection. Forget it. But if you're faithful, you're going to get there.
You are the man, Terry Crews. I could not be more happy for your success. Everybody that I know a ton of people in this town that know you, and they all speak glowingly of you, about what a good person you are.
Thank you,
and
sir.
how all your success is deserved. And you come back anytime.
Oh, I love it.
Please, I love it. At Terry Crews on Twitter, I follow, and also on Instagram. And check out America's Got Talent, The Champions, Mondays at 8 Eastern Time. And then, of course, Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Thursday nights on NBC to watch the Bo Jackson of the entertainment industry go to work. He's hosting as a hobby, and he's acting as a profession. That's Terry Crews here on The Rich Eisen Show. We're back with your phone calls, and Andrew Whitworth of the Rams will be in an actual current Los Angeles Ram.
Yes.
We got to get it. If he's here right now, we got to get a Rams reunion with Terry Crews and Andrew
we
Whitworth.
did. We had one in the green room.
Oh, you already had one?
Man. And they way
Fantastic.
better than we used to be. Oh, my God. They're amazing. He's amazing.
Terry Crews here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.